Thomas Jefferson, a visionary, a philosopher, and a revolutionary thinker. He was not just a president, he was an architect of democracy, a defender of liberty, and the author of the most important document in American history. His journey from a young Virginia scholar to the third president of the United States is a story of brilliance, ambition, and controversy. This is the life of Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States. Born on April 13, 1743, in Shadwell, Virginia, Thomas Jefferson grew up in a world of privilege and opportunity. His father, Peter Jefferson, was a successful surveyor and planter, and his mother, Jane Randolph, came from one of Virginia's most prominent families. From a young age, Jefferson displayed an insatiable curiosity and a love for learning. At the age of 9, he began studying Latin, Greek, and French under private tutors. His thirst for knowledge led him to the College of William and Mary, where he immersed himself in philosophy, mathematics, and law. A voracious reader, Jefferson often spent hours devouring books on politics, science, and history. By the time he graduated, he was regarded as one of the most brilliant minds of his generation. In 1767, he was admitted to the Virginia bar and began practicing law. His legal work quickly gained recognition, but his true passion lay in politics. The colonies were growing restless under British rule, and Jefferson was determined to play a role in shaping their future. The 1760s and 1770s were a time of mounting tensions between the American colonies and Great Britain. As Britain imposed more taxes and restrictions, Jefferson emerged as a fierce critic of colonial oppression. In 1774, he wrote A Summary View of the Rights of British America, a pamphlet that boldly challenged British authority and asserted the natural rights of the colonies. This document made Jefferson a rising star in the Patriot movement and caught the attention of revolutionary leaders across America. By 1775, war was inevitable. The Continental Congress convened, and Jefferson was chosen to represent Virginia. Though he was not a fiery orator like John Adams, his ability to articulate revolutionary ideals in writing made him indispensable to the cause. In June 1776, Jefferson was appointed to a 5-man committee tasked with drafting a formal Declaration of Independence. Though John Adams and Benjamin Franklin were on the committee, it was Jefferson who was given the responsibility of writing the first draft. For days, he sat alone in a small room, carefully crafting the words that would define a new nation. He drew inspiration from Enlightenment thinkers like John Locke, writing that all men are created equal and that they are endowed with unalienable rights, among them life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. On July 4, 1776, the Declaration of Independence was adopted, and Jefferson's words became immortal. But the fight for freedom was far from over. As war raged on, Jefferson returned to Virginia to serve as governor, where he faced one of the greatest challenges of his life. As governor of Virginia from 1779 to 1781, Jefferson struggled to defend his state from British attacks. When British forces, led by General Cornwallis, invaded Virginia, Jefferson was forced to flee Richmond. His inability to prevent the British occupation of Virginia led to criticism, but he remained steadfast in his commitment to the revolutionary cause. After the war ended in 1783, Jefferson was appointed as a diplomat to France, where he witnessed firsthand the beginnings of the French Revolution. While in Paris, he developed a deep appreciation for European culture, but remained devoted to the ideals of American democracy. When he returned to the United States, he was appointed as the first Secretary of State under President George Washington. However, political tensions soon arose between Jefferson and Alexander Hamilton. Jefferson believed in a limited federal government and a nation built on agriculture, while Hamilton advocated for a strong central government and industrialization. These ideological differences led to the formation of the first political parties in the United States. In 1796, Jefferson ran for president against John Adams. He lost, but became vice president under the rules of the time, which awarded the position to the second-place candidate. As vice president, Jefferson openly opposed many of Adams's policies, particularly the Alien and Sedition Acts, which he viewed as an attack on free speech. In response, he secretly authored the Kentucky Resolutions, asserting that states had the right to nullify federal laws they deemed unconstitutional. In 1800, Jefferson ran for president again in one of the most bitter and controversial elections in American history. He tied with Aaron Burr, leading to a tense vote in the House of Representatives. After 36 ballots, Jefferson was finally declared the winner, marking the first peaceful transfer of power in U.S. history. Chapter 6: The Presidency and the Louisiana Purchase. As the third president of the United States, Jefferson sought to unite the country and expand its horizons. His greatest achievement came in 1803 when he negotiated the Louisiana Purchase, doubling the size of the United States for just $15 million. This acquisition secured American control over vast western lands and ensured future expansion. Jefferson also commissioned the famous Lewis and Clark expedition, sending Meriwether Lewis and William Clark to explore the uncharted western territories. Their journey provided valuable knowledge about the geography, wildlife, and indigenous peoples of the region. However, Jefferson's presidency was not without controversy. In an effort to avoid war with Britain and France, he enacted the Embargo Act of 1807, which banned American trade with foreign nations. The policy backfired, crippling the U.S. economy and damaging his popularity. After serving 2 terms, Jefferson followed the precedent set by Washington and chose not to seek a 3rd term. In 1809, he retired to his beloved home, Monticello. Jefferson's post-presidency years were dedicated to education and philosophy. He founded the University of Virginia, believing that education was essential to maintaining a free and democratic society. Despite his immense contributions to America, Jefferson's legacy remains complicated. His ownership of enslaved people contradicts the very ideals of liberty and equality that he championed. This contradiction continues to spark debate about his place in history. On July 4, 1826, the 50th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, Thomas Jefferson passed away. In an extraordinary twist of fate, his friend and rival John Adams died just hours later. Thomas Jefferson was a man of ideas, a visionary whose words shaped the destiny of a nation. He was a scholar, a president, a diplomat, and a revolutionary thinker. His contributions to democracy, education, and westward expansion left an indelible mark on American history. But he was also a man of contradictions, a leader who wrote about freedom while living in a society that denied it to many. His legacy is complex, but his influence is undeniable. This was the life of Thomas Jefferson, the thinker, the founder, the 3rd president of the United States.